Hey guys, welcome back to the Growling channel, and today we're gonna be doing another ranking video. Yeah, these videos are pretty rare, but as you guys know, recently I went to go see the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse film, and you guys know that I said I really loved that film, and I thought it was definitely one of the best Spider-Man films I've ever seen. So, in honor of that film continuing to succeed, I decided I'm gonna do my top 8 Sony Marvel movies ranked from worst to best. Sony Marvel movies, pretty much Sony Spider-Man movies, but I'm just gonna go with Marvel because why not? So I'm gonna be doing every single type of Spider-Man movie spin-off remake that Sony has done. So we're gonna be doing every single one, like this Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, Spider-Man Homecoming. I know that's kind of more of a Marvel movie, Marvel Studios, but it's also kind of a Marvel and Sony work, so I'm just gonna include that in the list. And Venom and of course Into the Spider-Verse. So we're just gonna get straight into it. So let's I'm going to start off with my least favorite Sony Marvel movie that's coming up to number 8. So coming up to number 8 is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So first and foremost, what do I like about this film? Electro, I guess. I mean, he's not an awful villain. He's not a terrible, extraordinary, terrible villain. But if that really even made any sense. But I don't know. Electro wasn't awful. He wasn't really the best villain, though. He just wasn't great. I don't know. I like the Spider-Man suit that they did in this. It felt like a Spider-Man suit that I'll always remember. It's a great Spider-Man suit. I don't know what else to like about this film, but the things I hate about this film is that mainly the villains. The villains were pretty bad. Like, mainly Green Goblin and the Rhino. The Green Goblin looked ugly as hell, and now we've already seen the Green Goblin and others in the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie. Why do we have to see him again? Except he looked much uglier, and it was actually Harry Osborn who was Green Goblin, not Norman Osborn. And the Rhino was even worse. The look of him just looked like some kind of transformer or something, and he was only in it for like 5 minutes, and then it just cut to the end. The ending was so shit. I hated the ending. Andrew Garfield's portrayal as Peter Parker, I don't know, however you say it, I'm saying it kind of weird, I really didn't like it. I hated it. I'm being honest, I didn't like Andrew Garfield's portrayal. It was just, he didn't do a good job. He was just definitely my least favorite, I guess. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess I just said that now. But yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is my least favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. So, anyways, let's just move on to number 7. Coming up to number 7 is The Amazing Spider-Man. So, yeah, what did I like about this film? I'll say the special effects. I don't know, people have been thinking the special effects look bad, but, I think the special effects didn't look too bad. I think they looked pretty good. I didn't mind it. I think that's all I liked about the film. I don't know, there's probably other stuff, I just can't think of it. But, let's just get into this, let's just straight out get into stuff I didn't like about it. The costume. I thought the costume was really weird. I don't know what they were trying with it. Like, it didn't even feel like the costume just, like everyone says, it looked kind of like a basketball or something. I don't know what it was. I don't know what they were doing with it. I don't know if they were just trying to do something different. It doesn't feel like this. The costume just felt like a cool kid or some hippie would make, not Peter Parker. Yeah, of course, Andrew Garfield's first portrayal as Peter Parker I still didn't really like. And either way, it's just not a great Spider-Man film. I just didn't really enjoy myself. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't awful. It wasn't it wasn't a horrible Spider-Man movie. It was just okay, I guess. It was just meh. So, yeah. It wasn't the best Spider-Man movie, it was just okay. You know, they were kind of going with the same story. Pretty lazy, but yeah, it was just okay. So anyways, let's just move on to number 6. So coming at number 6 is Spider-Man 3. So now, where it starts off with Spider-Man 3 in my list, this is where I start to kind of like the movies. Start to like the movies in my list. You know, like, if you know what I mean, like, the movies in my list where starting off with Spider-Man 3 is where I actually start to like them. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 2, they weren't that good. Starting off with Spider-Man 3 is where I actually start to like him. So, Spider-Man 3 I actually really enjoyed. I mainly love it because it was part of my much younger childhood. I'm still kind of a child, but it was part of my much younger childhood. How old was I? 3, 4 years old. I always remember watching this movie. Not a lot, but sometimes, and it was part of my much younger childhood, and that's one thing I most appreciate about this film. And it might have been the first ever Spider-Man movie I've ever watched. Okay, probably not. I think those original 1990s animated Spider-Man series was the first ever Spider-Man shit. I don't remember. It was much. It was years ago. But Spider-Man 3, I thought was really good. I really enjoyed Spider-Man 3. Issues that I have with the film. I think the special effects look pretty awful. They were pretty bad. But the action, the way it was handled was really good. It would look fucking amazing. But you know, if it just had better special effects, it would have looked much better. But nope. Of course, I'm gonna get into that whole dancing sequence with Peter Parker dancing. It was a little cringy. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty cringy. Always watching that scene, especially when he's in that place that with Mary, that when he's dancing in that place, whatever it's called. It was just some place. That was also pretty cringy, pretty pointless, and I don't know what they were thinking. You know, Sam Raimi never wanted Venom to be in the film, so I don't know. He just didn't know what he wanted to do with the character. But yeah. Topher Grace is our performance as Eddie Brock. I didn't really give a shit about his character. I didn't at all. I'm not saying that I actually hated him, but I don't know. I just thought he was a pretty pointless character, and I didn't give really two shits about him. And then when he finally transformed into Venom, which took a very long time, he didn't look awful, like the look of Venom. You know, the only thing that looked bad about him was just that he was just really skinny. But that's it. You know, people were annoyed that he wasn't like strong and buff like in the comics. But you know, in this one he was actually really skinny. But I don't think it was a huge problem. But whatever. Anyways, that's what I thought of Spider-Man 3. So let's just move on to number 5. So coming up to number 5 is Venom. So walking into this film, going to see it in theaters, I was very excited. I was getting ready to have my own opinion watching this film. Not just be like, screw all the critics. Just ignore all their opinions about the film. I was just gonna go out with my own opinion and think about what I was gonna go with. And honestly, walking out, I actually had a great time watching Venom. It wasn't brilliant. It wasn't amazing, but it was just a fun and enjoyable film. That I thought was really, really good. Especially the relationship between Venom and Eddie. That was handled pretty well, to my opinion. Tom Hardy did a really good job playing as Eddie Brock and voicing Venom. It was a little hard to understand what he was saying sometimes, but, you know, stuff. I will say the special effects wasn't the best sometimes. The villain, Colton Drake, was a pretty shit villain. I'm not gonna lie, he was pretty boring. Also, the symbiote that Colton Drake bonds with, Riot, who's also pretty much the other main villain, was also a pretty shit villain. Eddie Brock's ex-girlfriend, Annie Wang, was shit, I guess. I don't know, I just thought she was just a typical love interest for the main hero. But yeah, she didn't really do a lot in this film, so I wasn't really impressed by her or anything she did in this film. But yeah, Venom was a good film, alright? I don't care what everybody else thinks if this film is stupid or not. I really liked Venom. Didn't love it, I just liked it. Venom was a great movie. I had a good time. Anyways, let's move on to number 4. So, coming up to number 4 is Spider-Man 2. So, I don't know if you guys are mad that I put this at number 4, like, if you're thinking this should be at number 1, number 2, or even number 3. No, I still really loved Spider-Man 2. I really loved this film. I think it was just a great fucking movie. I'm not saying, like, I don't have any big issues with the film. I thought this film was really good. I will say this. It's only the slightest, tiniest bit boring. A little bit. Like, some moments, it's a little tiny bit. It's a little boring. Alright? Not really most parts, it's really entertaining and really awesome. And also, other things I'll talk about later. But it's only the tiniest bit boring, some scenes. Some scenes, I'm just like, alright, we can just move on now. But either way, the film was great. It was also showing, you know, Peter's everyday life, his everyday problems, you know, he has to find a job, he has to go to college or school or whatever he's going to, whatever it is. You know, it's just seeing him being Peter Parker, you know? It was really good to see that, and yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Spider-Man 2, to be honest. But yeah, let's just move on to number 3. Coming up to number 3 is Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man film. I just have to make this, put this up to number 3 and put Spider-Man 2 up to number 4 because it's the original Spider-Man movie and it's showing the story of Spider-Man in live action for the first time. Well, I don't know, like there was that 1970s Spider-Man film series thing, but I don't know if that counts. But it doesn't count. Alright, so this is like the first live action film telling the story, or origin story of Spider-Man or Peter Parker, him getting bitten by a radioactive spider. I just love this film. Tobey Maguire, I really appreciate as a Peter Parker. Did it feel believable that it was Tobey that was in that Spider-Man suit? It didn't feel very believable that was him in there. But yeah, the action in this film was awesome. Like especially that part when Peter and Green Goblin are fighting in that weird destroyed building place. If you remember that part when Spider-Man was just getting his ass kicked. God, that was crazy and it was a little funny sometimes. But either way, Tobey Maguire did a great job playing as Peter Parker, and most of the other cast of the film did a really good job. So I appreciate it. And so yeah, let's just move on to number 2. Coming up to number 2 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, guys. I fucking love this Spider-Man film. It was great. You know, I'm not even a huge fan of Spider-Man animation, especially when it's always in the TV shows like Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, I kind of like that show, but it was like, I wasn't a huge fan of it. But this film did a fucking great job bringing Miles Morales to life. Miles Morales in this film, I actually cared about his character, and it was just a great Spider-Man movie. They did such a good job. The only issues I had with the film was the animation and some of the villains, but that's it. Like, the animation was great. It was awesome. It felt like a comic book, but it was a little trippy sometimes. It was a little hard to see what I was meant to be looking at some scenes, but most scenes, it was fucking great. And, some of the villains in this film, some were a little meh and some were a little pointless, but either way, Into the Spider-Verse is definitely my second favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. But coming up to number 1, that is going to be my favorite and still is Sony Marvel movie is Spider-Man Homecoming. So, guys, I still love Spider-Man Homecoming. It's still my favorite Spider-Man or Sony Marvel movie of all time. It's definitely because of Tom Holland. Tom Holland is and always will be the best Spider-Man ever. He's a great Peter Parker and a great Spider-Man. I actually believe that it's him in that Spider-Man suit, and it's great. I'm glad that they tried to do something different with this Spider-Man film. You know, they tried to go with a much younger Peter Parker, because, you know, the Raimi films with like a college Peter Parker, and Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man went with like a fucking I think even a much older Spider-Man, I'm not sure. But this one, they just try to do something different, and I really appreciate it. Even the villain is great. Michael Keaton as the Vulture was great. I mean, at first I thought he was just some typical villain, but then when I saw that twist at the end, showing the connection that he has with Peter, it shocked the hell out of me. It was definitely one of the best parts of the movie. But either way, Spider-Man Homecoming is still my favorite Spider-Man or Sony Marvel movie of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching my 8 Sony Marvel movies ranked from worst to best. This is just my opinion, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I gotta end this video really quick because it's really long. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! Peace!